Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerds Amalgamated. I'm the Professor and my co-hosts are Devi Boy and the DJ.
Hello, how are you going? I've got 10 bits that a voice synthesizer will be used in this episode.
I reckon the odds on that are good.
Mm-hmm. Someone's been playing around with one.
I'm just having too much fun.
There we go. DJ is alive. I thought he must have been running off to get his synth.
I was placing money whether or not you'll open up using the voice synthesizer. It's fine. You didn't do it. I'm disappointed, honestly.
I'll do it. It's just you just don't know when you will least expect.
Oh, so I'll be surprised and get a heart attack when you do. All right.
Damn it, DJ. We're going to have to go find another co-host again, aren't we?
Ah.
How could you do this?
Yeah, don't kill this one off. You know how much of a pain that is. So, you're up first, DJ. What have you got for us?
So, we are going to be seeing a documentary about a video game.
Ooh, what video game?
One of the greatest sports video games ever made. NBA Jam.
What?
Wow, the enthusiasm is so overwhelming.
I mean, granted, it is a very long-running franchise, but I mean, I see why I'm making a documentary over it. One, long-running franchise. Two, it already has an audience because it's NBA, right?
Come on, NBA Jam. Who hasn't played NBA Jam here?
Me?
I'm pretty sure I haven't.
I haven't.
Not even with an emulator? Oh.
Not even with an emulator. It probably helps that it's almost as old as I am.
Well, it
25 years ago, so
yeah,
pretty much.
So, Best Cross Studios, the production arm of the basketball-themed social media platform Best Crosses, are planning to make an NBA Jam documentary and this will talk about the history and the success of the game. So it'll be directed by Sean Menard, and he's been in a couple of sports documentaries, including the acclaimed The Carter Effect about the now retired Vince Carter. And the book, which they're basing it on, was released in October 2019. It's built on extensive research and dozens of original interviews with developers, journalists, fans, and NBA players.
Can I just point out, I was looking for information on this game, and the 1994 version, there's a couple of different versions, 93 NBA Jam, 94 NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and then a couple of console releases.
Oh, yeah.
They've just upgraded NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Well, someone made a mod, actually. I thought this might have been official. It's he's added the teams from the 2020 and 2021 rosters into it.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, including Barry Allen and Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a meme there. Is this guy... I think this guy's been doing it for years now, because the related articles are for a couple of other years that it's been done for.
But
so that's saying something about its popularity then.
Yeah. This game has had many greats among its fans, like for example Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing. Shaq has teammates over to play NBA Jam in the arcade back in the day.
Back in the day. So, the director's basically quoted, "When NBA Jam hit the arcade, I was barely tall enough to reach the joystick and view the screen at the same time. But while literally standing on my toes, I was completely immersed in a game that allowed me the creative freedom to perform out-of-this-world feats of athleticism. This was during a tipping point for the NBA as the league was bursting with excitement and culture that was appealing to a younger fan base."
And let's be honest, we're gamers, so we're not going to be doing any of that in real life.
Mind you, though, like this was around the time when Space Jam was a thing.
Yeah, still waiting for that sequel.
So man.
It is coming out, Professor. It is coming out.
I do love that the Space Jam website is basically the same as it was in the 90s. In fact, I wonder if they've even bothered updating it to protect against cross-site scripting.
So that's true. They did take it down for a while, but they put it back.
No, I don't think they'll update it.
No, I reckon I'll update it. It's for the memes, man.
Oh yeah. They might update it, but I think they'll just wait for the right time when the sequel comes out and be like, oh yeah, that's a good time to update it.
True.
Yeah, I hope they keep the original there, though. Like, make a second website, spacejam2.com or something. And just keep the original as a little time capsule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be good. I'll say that would be good compromise.
So the director also says there are various subplots in this movie that would detail how gaming was transitioned from arcades to home entertainment and how it would eventually lead to the demise of Midway, the company.
Old Midway.
But do you reckon this idea though of game documentaries becoming a tired documentary genre?
What do you mean? In what way?
I mean, like we've seen the good old Mario, not Mario, Donkey Kong. There was a documentary about the Donkey Kong games and how two Donkey Kong speedrunners were fighting against each other.
Yeah, I don't think it's a dying genre all over and play. Like, I mean, you look to historical events like Romans, 9/11, obviously coronavirus will be. There's hundreds and thousands of not hundreds of thousands, but there's at least a good 5,000 documentaries and stuff around them, right? So I think gaming video games in general don't really documentaries, like, compared to those other selections. Like, I know, top of my head, indie game movie, you've had quite a few retro, history video games documentaries. So I think it still has room to expand.
Interestingly, though, there have been some recent documentaries in relation with esports.
Oh?
Yeah, there was one called "My Name Is Total Biscuit: The Life and Times of John Bain."
Oh.
Breaking Point, free to play. That was an interesting one that came out in 2011. State of Play, and even today I saw a recent documentary from the YouTuber named the Right Opinion called talking about the Hunt the Freeman, is it? Yeah.
Hunt Down the Freeman.
Hunt Down the Freeman, that's the one.
Well, there's a lot of low-budget documentaries made by YouTubers.
Definitely. I mean, there are some amazing ones.
It's going to be, like, put on TV or at least in theaters or anything. Because that's sort of, not even TV, but I think there's a difference in caliber between having your work released on YouTube for free and having it on a service like Netflix.
I think the only YouTuber I'll say would be who only released on YouTube, but his documentaries would be of a TV quality. Would be Let Me Know. Who used to be top 10 memes. Like his production value is astonishing. Just one guy.
Yeah, Tom Scott too. I reckon you could put like his videos are short, but you could put a Tom Scott video on. ABC used to have 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute, whatever shows to fill blocks where a show only goes for 45 minutes, just to round out the hour. Yeah,
I'll say also maybe Captain's Illusion, because not really documentary, but kids TV in a way. Like his quality. Like those YouTubers do amazing quality stuff. Those are just do stuff.
not to mention our good old friend Internet Historian.
Yeah, so who's the director behind this documentary?
The director behind this is Sean Menard.
Okay, I found him on IMDb, I'm assuming.
Time to search. Time to find out. Time to stalk.
I like this guy. One of the people involved in this movie saying that this documentary will not only be a trip down memory lane for older audiences, but will reveal to a younger generation how it all started with a gaming industry today worth many billions of dollars.
Not wrong.
Yeah. So this guy is responsible for a couple of dozen different things. Actually, no, there's a lot of duplicates, so it's more like just a dozen things.
What's his most popular?
I just sort by that. His highest rated is Fight Mum, which is about a MMA fighter balancing life between being a mother and professional fighting.
That sounds pretty interesting. No wonder it's pretty popular, yeah.
Yeah, so he's done, most of them are about sports.
Sports.
A couple about UFC, a baseball team, basketball player. So he's got the sports side down. Does he have the game side down?
That's the question, isn't it? I'm sure he does.
That'd be an interesting idea, though. I mean, NBA Jam, it's two worlds, and it's mixing two worlds. So it's going to be an interesting concept because NBA Jam is a video game and a sports game. So which side is he going to be heavily? It's going to be a tough balance to follow. Which side is he going to weigh heavily on? Is it going to be the sports side or is it going to be the video game side?
I think we're probably leaning more to sports. But I mean, you never know until you watch it, eh?
Yeah.
I was assuming he'd be targeting gamers because of his comment about showing kids where games came from.
True. Well, I will find out and have to watch it, I guess, when it comes out, eh?
Although I agree with I agree with you guys on that one. Yeah. I mean, as we said earlier on, the games aspect, the games in the 90s was the birth of sports games exploding to what it is now.
You mean horribly overpriced, microtransaction-filled, buggy piles of garbage?
Yep.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
Yeah, not sure that's something I'd be bragging about, but okay. So, do you know when it's going to be released?
Not sure when it will be released, but hopefully soon. Hopefully.
Okay, and you asked us if we've played, but I didn't hear your answer. Have you?
Yeah, I have. During
All
the
right,
night.
Grandpa.
Oh, Saturday! Saturday!
Oh, no.
Back in my day, the Nintendo 64 was the greatest thing on the planet.
To be clear, that's not the voice modifier. That's just how annoying he sounds in real life.
Exactly, right?
Unless if you guys want to make me put the Bernie Sanders voice.
How did you know I was looking at photos of the memes today at their inauguration? Jesus. That was uncanny.
It's about the only thing that's been on Reddit all day.
Oh, God. My fellow Americans.
Yeah, you can't do it that well.
Nah, I can't, nah.
You can't.
Politicians really shouldn't carry pieces of paper. It's way too exploitable.
Not to mention the mittens they use to carry that pieces of paper.
Come on, the mittens are very cute.
Yeah, those are nice mittens.
They're handmade as well. Like, come on. Don't rag the mittens, please.
Yeah, we've got that exploitable shot of Bernie carrying the paper. There's the famous one of Michelle Obama holding the sign.
And then the Trump one in multiple ways. There's another Bernie one with him in the council. It has a big whiteboard, if I remember correctly. And then, yeah, there's the multiple Trump ones from every part of the last 4 years.
Well, it
I think
helps
the
that
ones
some of the
sitting on-
photos of Trump were actually taken with blank pieces of paper.
Oh, we have no washing out. I just throw on a green screen right now and be all good to go. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I remember fairly early on, he did a photo shoot with a pile of documents on his desk, but one of the folders was open and you could see it's just blank.
And that's is what the internet does best.
Can we get Bernie Sanders added to the next NBA game as the secret character?
Oh my god, yes, please.
Politician ball.
Bernie boys.
No, imagine Fallout 76, you get the Bernie Sanders NPC.
Just a wasteland of...
For most of the elections of the last few years, many a true nerd has done the Worms election predictor,
Oh, yeah?
where he programs in politician names as characters in Worms, and then sets them all to AI and makes them fight to the death.
Who won last year's?
He didn't do one for the latest American election, but the 2016 election, I'm pretty sure it accurately predicted the winner, which is a bit scary because its accuracy is like pretty close to that octopus, the one that they used to use to predict the sports.
Oh yeah, Paul the Octopus. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we're getting way off topic. So,
Yep. But
speaking of information, I was trying to do that one earlier when we were talking about the paper, but missed the opportunity. What were you saying, DJ?
I was gonna say, I was gonna segue that too, but I kind of lost my thought.
So we've spoken about data being stored in DNA before, but this is a new way of doing it that lets you use free-range bacteria. Actually, no, presumably it's grown in the lab. But previously, you create the bacteria from scratch to contain the genetic code that you want. In this case, Columbia University staff Harris Wang and his colleagues have created E. coli bacteria. And when you zap them with electricity, their genomes change and you can store data in them. They have so far stored the phrase hello world, which is a common programming test pattern, the bacteria actually carry that on to further generations. And in the full paper, they point out that they've so far managed to store 72 bits of data. Not bytes, bits. That's a bit less than 10 bytes of data. Sorry, yeah.
So how many GIFs would that be?
Not many. So we're talking bits of data. That's like the smallest possible unit of data in a binary computer. It's one electrical on-off signal.
I mean, that's a huge step in terms of nanotechnology and microbiology.
It is. And, this is in early days. Hopefully they'll proceed further. But 72 bits in Hello World and 72 bits, is that, what encoding would they have used? Because I'm pretty sure ASCII wouldn't work. Yeah, so one ASCII character is 8 bits. So you'd only be able to store 10 characters in, not even 10 characters in this DNA. Now, they have stored Hello World, including an exclamation mark, which by my count comes to 11 characters, so either my maths is off or something else is going on. But that's the scales we're talking about, 10 characters in an E. coli. But the E. coli self-replicates, protects the data, repairs it, preserves it, and you can still read it even if you mix your data with other bacteria.
Imagine someday someone stores in the Holy Bible into the bacteria and it gets mixed in with other sources of information. Be like, and then the Lord created 5.37 million. Wait, what the hell is this?
Well, it's going to be a while before you can fit a book of that caliber in there. Right now we've got 2 words, so several orders of magnitude out. What I want to know, though, I had an idea the other night. Do you guys know the book Johnny Mnemonic?
Seen the movie, yeah.
Oh, yes, there is a movie. Yeah, so he stores people's information in his brain for later retrieval. I bet you could load up somebody's DNA. Like, once they improve this a bit, you could probably do it to their skin or something they're not going to miss too much if it mutates horribly. Or maybe even inject them with the E. coli.
For some reason, it reminds me of that game Prototype.
Yeah,
where you just absorb someone, the monster absorbs someone and retains their memories and whatnot,
and also completely breaks the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Not the absorbing people thing. I'm fine with that. But the bit where absorbing people doesn't increase his physical mass until he wants it to, and then he's like, "Surprise! My arm is a hammer." That's not how density works.
Oh, come on! It's just a computer game.
So they have also been working on a barcoded array. So what's fun? They're calling this drives. All capitals DRIVES for data recording in vivo by electrical stimulation. But they are working on arrays which are multiplexed so that you can increase the amount of data you're storing by spreading it across multiple cells. So now we have E. coli bacteria in RAID.
Wait, so this is gonna be interesting. Imagine bacteria as the next USB drives.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Inject your messenger with bacteria. No one can find it. He gets to the site, has his blood taken or whatever. They decode the bacteria, and bam, there's your message.
This will make information smuggling take it to a new level.
Well, what sort of data would you embed in your DNA?
Oh, okay. If this was a corporate espionage thing,
Tough choice here. Tough choice.
Maybe the PIN numbers of everyone's computers, or
I can give you a list. I have everybody in the world's PIN number. I can give you a list of it.
You what?
I'm not kidding. I have a list of everybody's PIN.
All right.
First entry 0000. The second entry 0001. So you're saying you get your bank account details embedded in your DNA?
Oh, or your driver's license, or...
Yeah, that would be good for identifying, missing people when, a toenail turns up.
Not wrong. I mean, that's what you use it for already, Prince DA. DNA identification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dental records was always the thing to go to if it was to identify a missing person and whatnot. I mean, nowadays people are getting smart.
That's an older method, though. Now you can use DNA, which is more reliable because the chances of a DNA match are very slim.
Yeah.
The problem being if the DNA is degraded because of these storage conditions. But DNA by itself has a half-life of about 500 years, which is why we will never see dinosaurs brought back to life because too much time has passed.
Oh, unless if they do what happened in Jurassic Park.
Fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, it's been so long, like 500 years is how long it takes for half of your sample to decay. So in 1,000 years, you only have a quarter of your sample left, and so on and so forth. So by now, there is really nothing left to find.
You reckon that would be the same case with this sort of information storage, though?
Eventually, yes. But they do point it out in the paper that it is an option for ridiculously long data storage. And they did notice that the data stored in their barcoded population experiment was stable for 60 generations.
It'd also be actually funny, though. Imagine storing in your university assignment.
Yeah, you could do that. Hand in your thesis on storing data in bacteria in the bacteria you stored it in.
Just draw it out from your blood, like, all right, first drop, that's the introduction. The second drop, that's the that's the abstract.
The problem is 60 generations isn't all that long, just for cultured bacteria. So, according to the textbook of bacteriology, E. coli has a 15 to 20 minute generation time in the lab.
Well, that also depends on if on what type of are they going to use PCR or not, though.
Well, that's possibly part of it. I haven't seen that in the paper, but PCR isn't all it's cracked up to be. You can only recover data that's still there, and they said, like, this is their test that they've done, that they start noticing corruption after 60 generations. But anyway, what I was trying to get back to, DNA has a half-life of 500 years. And have you heard about the projects to develop a warning system to tell people stay the F away from nuclear waste for fire in the future?
No.
Okay, so how do you tell someone who's going to be born in 1,000 years to stay away from a particular area?
Ooh. You put thousands of giant spikes in a place in the middle of the desert.
That's actually, one of the warnings I've talked about.
Yes.
And Debbie Boy gets a gold star.
Thank you. It's definitely not. I've seen this article 5 times before.
Yeah, it's a good thought experiment and something the Long Now Foundation should look into.
I love the diagram. It's like, ooh, tick, tick, uh-oh, everyone dies.
Yes.
Or
So you could use, it would take an advanced civilization to actually decode the DNA. But I wonder if you could use that as a warning to mark these sites.
I mean, it would take a whole lot of variables for that to happen, though.
That's the problem. What information will survive long enough to warn people in the far future and still be interpretable? We can't guarantee that people in 1,000 years will speak English. In fact, if you go and read the Canterbury Tales, you're not going to get anywhere because it's not written in what we would call English.
Who knows, maybe 1,000 years from now, mumble rappers would still be rapping.
But no one can understand them anyway, so...
Doesn't matter, man. Yo, don't go down here to the dead little moment. You got that. No, it's terrible. But...
Mumble rap the Sandia warning. This place is not a message and part of a system of messages. Sorry, this place is a message and part of a system of messages. Pay attention to it. Sending this message was important to us. We considered ourselves to be a powerful culture. This place is not a place of honor. No highly esteemed deed is commemorated here. Nothing valued is here. What is here was dangerous and repulsive to us. This message is a warning about danger, and so on and so forth. maybe mumble rapping will be how we communicate in 1,000 years. But yes.
It'd be like, yo, 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 what's up, my man? How's it going, my man? It'd be like, oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
That reminded me of Star Trek when Shatner goes back in time and they sit, and I think it's Shatner and Spock sitting opposite some guy like swearing, and Shatner didn't like it. He's like, what is all this swearing? We grew from this.
Yeah. So I asked DJ, Devi, but what would you encode into your DNA?
That's a good one. I don't know. Obviously, identity and things, which already is really kind of already in there. Hacking powers, cat DNA, cat girl.
Well, it has to be text.
Damn it.
Yes, because this is an ASCII encoding, so
I can't get my genetic modified kills yet. I don't know. Let me think. Because I mean, DJ has already said most of the stuff I'll agree with, like security, credit card, maybe car keys.
get a finger prick to unlock your car.
No, I was going to say,
like you're getting like diabetes tested.
Yeah. Please take. I need blood to operate.
The vampire cars.
Oh, you know what's going to be also interesting now that you guys mentioned that? Can you imagine being a politician and every term you give the same like sort of information to the next president, like nuclear codes can be embedded into your DNA, and then as soon as your term ends, it'll be like, all right, give it to the next guy.
Interesting. That kind of reminds me of a thought experiment about how to stop the president using the nuclear button because he's grumpy. And the idea was for him to have a friend who would go with him everywhere, who would have the key to the nuclear football embedded in his chest. And the nuclear football would be equipped with a knife. So when it's time to launch the nukes, you first have to murder your best friend, take the key, and then fire.
Oh,
that's yeah. I mean, I know that test. I mean, it works, but at the same time, it's like, oof.
Well, it's not actually done, but
sure.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thought experiment.
Launch nukes. Just gotta do a little stabby.
Yep. Before you kill millions, you must kill one.
What is it? That line from Spock? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Yep. Which, if you're using nuclear weapons, you'd better have a really good reason. But we are digressing so far.
Yep.
Where have we gone? What's rabbit hole we down now?
We're talking about
but on the topic of nuclear weapons, ties back to nuclear energy.
Oh.
Which ties back to energy use. Segue, how's your energy bill looking?
I don't have one, so one of you two?
Lucky. It's higher at the moment because it's summer and I like being not dead, so I run the air conditioner.
You should be dead, man. Turn the aircon off. What are you doing? Save the planet.
Yeah,
I
try to be responsible.
Such a big spender has the air conditioning. Ooh, la-di-da.
Hey, unlike you, I have a full-time job.
Hey, I have a ceiling fan. Ooh, much more cheaper than air conditioning and much more effective than air conditioning.
Look at you guys ripping about fans.
We have thousands of fans all around the world.
And they do much more better jobs than air conditioners.
Well, you're wrong, but okay. Anyway, the new generation consoles can draw more than 200 watts when being used.
Holy shit. Yeah, you're not wrong. That's about right.
Meanwhile, I'm here with my computer with the 800 watt power supply,
yeah,
not that it'll only hit that when you absolutely peg it.
Yes, of course.
But
wait, does your computer have overclocking as well?
No, I'm not overclocked at the moment. I used to, but I don't really feel the need anymore. My current chips are fast enough for me. But the US Natural Resources Defense Council has published a report about the next-gen consoles. And normally I dismiss this as just bloody kids whining, but, just say, okay, boomer. But I didn't realize how much more power these ones were using compared to the old ones. And when set at the lowest power setting and in sleep mode, the consoles draw less than a watt.
Okay, that's about right.
Yep, which is actually pretty good for energy efficiency for an always-on appliance.
Yeah.
But this also includes disabling features like instant on.
Oh, with instant on enabled.
Yeah, so not that... Have consoles ever really taken that long to boot up?
I mean, not really. I mean, the PlayStation 4 has a very fast booting up speed.
Yeah, so in the report, actually, they do actually point out that instant on only saves 5 to 10 seconds. But based on the modeling, this could use 500 megawatt of power every year.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's one whole large coal-burning power plant. And adding up to, across all Xbox owners in the US, a total of $1 billion on their electricity bills. And American power is dirt cheap compared to here, so yeah.
Pull that oil, man.
I picked up an interesting article here. Energy use with the old gaming consoles. With the PS3, it uses 1.1 watts on standby mode and 189 watts during gameplay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's all in this full report.
Huh.
But they also point out that the device draws 10 to 25, well, the consoles draw 10 to 25 times more power than a dedicated streaming device like Apple TV or Roku. And they say they repeatedly urge Sony and Microsoft to include a low power video playback chip, which that's an interesting, from a game dev perspective, if you could know that you had a video decoding chip and offload your cutscenes and stuff to that. But anyway, TJ, I really hope you haven't just found another site copying the source I've given you. Okay, good, you haven't. Yes, that's last gen. Well, a couple of gens ago now, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did they, when they wrote the report, did they look into what type of games they were playing, just to estimate the high power consumptions and whatnot, or is it just every game is going to be making this insane amount of power?
No, because a modern computer chip will only draw the power it needs to run a particular program, and they will intelligently adjust their clock speed to reduce power consumption.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's pretty good, eh?
Yeah. I'm not aware of that being around for forever, so, your 20-year-old PC is probably less efficient at adjusting to different use cases, and also less efficient because newer PCs have better quality capacitors and stuff. But there's a lot of work done to reduce the power usage of devices.
I would like to see the power consumption when each console's play Crysis. Wonder how much power consumption was in that one.
Yeah. So Crysis is going to use a lot more power than, say, Binding of Isaac, even though Binding of Isaac is written in a much more inefficient programming language. So that's what makes benchmarking power use tricky, because it all depends on your use case, really. But there are things that we know as sort of general rules of thumb, something to keep in mind when designing your computer or entertainment setup. And it turns out there's, significant power savings by using a Roku or other device than by using your console to stream. And so...
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense when you think about it. Like, when you get down to it, like, it's like, running a gaming PC just to watch YouTube videos. It's like, yeah, but also nah.
Yeah, it'll clock down to use less power, but it's still going to use more power than watching the same video on your phone.
Exactly.
That's one reason why I'm excited for the M1. It's a closed source chip, but it is ridiculously power efficient compared to equivalent chips. And I'm not usually into Apple, but I'm excited to see what their high-end Apple chips are, just because I want to see the comparison to, the high-end Intel and AMD. But here we go. I have found in the report a comparison on different games. So on the PS5, NHL 2021, which is a PS4 game, drew between 80 and 104 watts. And actually, it says, depending on your ability and the TV's resolution. I don't know if it's playing well using more power. Like, if you play terribly, does the AI dumb itself down and save power? Probably not.
Unless you're a player from China.
because they always say they have better computers. I mean,
they do. But on the PS5, playing Astro's Playhouse, it maxes out over 200 watts.
Oh,
And same for the Series S. Sorry, they only tested the Series S. Most of the games that they tested were 50 to, in the 50s, and they didn't use the Series X, but CNET reports 200 watts playing the latest games.
you know what's also going to be interesting? A lot of people and companies have been putting a lot of emphasis on ray tracing, and from what I've gathered, that it's a very labor-intensive process for the computers to trying to enable ray tracing. So
so ray tracing has been around for decades.
Yeah, it was back on the mid 80s. Even before that, they were doing ray tracing.
You can actually go back and find, there are modern attempts at it, but there are also early attempts at ray tracing, which the modern stuff's much better running on the old consoles, but because people have more experience. But now NVIDIA has started putting dedicated hardware in their graphics cards to do ray tracing, which means more games can use it on the fly. Since when gaming, you need to do the same for the scene 60 times a second. If you're doing a movie, you can afford to wait a few minutes for your frame, since movies are all pre-computed.
Exactly, yeah.
But one thing I've thought about this for a while, but one thing this has reminded me of is while I was restoring a friend's Atari, I found out that the whole thing runs off, it's got a weird input voltage, like 14 volts, and then it knocks that down to 9 volts for the internals. But sort of makes me wonder how much better would power usage be if we focused on efficient use of the tools we have. So I'm not going to say Python is bad, because Python is amazing, but it is it's slow and inefficient compared to
so other words, bad.
Yeah. And there are people doing benchmarks that compare the power usage of different languages, and compilers are actually better at compiling to assembly than an assembly programmer.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah, so it's all set up so that you can... So Python is a great accessibility tool and really makes prototyping and developing so much easier. But I can't help but wonder where we would be if, instead of throwing more CPU at the problem, we were stuck with the CPUs of 20 years ago and just made more efficient code. Which is sort of the idea behind the demo scene. I was never really into it until Devi introduced me to it a few weeks ago.
Oh no, what have you done? What have I done?
You've done bad things, Devi.
Okay, please explain your adventures.
I have been corrupted.
Oh gosh.
What have you done, Devi boy? What have you done? Professor?
How deep
3D video playback on an 8-bit chip. I have seen the light.
Oh no, what have I done to you?
It's nuts, and it's not something the average person could pull off.
No. Just mad people running 3D graphics on a Sega Genesis, and then it's like, what is it on an Atari? Yeah.
Hey, can you imagine that being that type of knowledge being stored in DNA?
We need more John Carmacks. John Carmack is basically Neo. He doesn't see the world; he sees the code.
But back to the topic of the power consumption. I would say, with your question about where would the world be, we will never know. But I don't know. Maybe we should have more emphasis on coding in with this kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to have a group who looks for ways to code more efficiently and to more efficiently use the tech we have.
I have a question for you both, game developers. Does this sort of scenario hinder your progress when it comes to game making and stuff? Saying like, oh, if we cut back on the graphics with this, this might be environmentally friendly, and I don't want people's computers to blow up in the process.
It's not something I've ever thought about, really. But for the most part, apart from big stylistic changes like 2D versus 3D, most of the difference that would matter is on the engine level. And most indie game devs don't make their own engine.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's be up to the companies that manage the engine to change things over if it was to ever happen. Like, the game developers themselves wouldn't really get too much into that.
And some of this goes really deep into computer science, which doesn't have a whole lot of overlap with making the games. You'd want a good computer scientist to help you optimize your engine, but your average dev doesn't know a lick of it.
Binary? What?
Yes, but moving on the topic of game development, what have you got for us, Stevie?
So there's been some news in the game development space. I'll try and make this English for you gamers, I guess. So GameMaker is, apart from the very generic name, is a game engine which I use, many others use to make games, such as Hotline Miami, Undertale, and a few others made inside it. Hyperlife Drifter, another one. Recently, it's been acquired by the Opera developers, the Opera web developers, which is very interesting news. It came literally out of left field. I believe it's for...
If you don't know who the Opera web browser people are, don't worry, because nobody uses Opera.
Yeah, so...
Here we go. They've got less than 3% browser share worldwide.
Oh, ouch.
Oh, wait, how about Safari?
Safari will be near the top. I think, from memory, it's Chrome, Firefox, Safari.
Sounds right.
Oh no, apparently it's the other way around. It's Chrome at 63%, Safari at 20%, Firefox at less than 4%.
Oh.
Yeah, I use Firefox because I like being different.
Although, mind you, with Opera, last year they developed a game browser called Opera GX.
Wondering what market share that is.
Yeah, I remember that now. It was a browser optimized for gamers.
It has, I think, sounds when you hit key, mini gamer.
Yeah, and aren't they now owned by a Russian company or something?
Chinese company.
Chinese, that's it. Yeah, and Linus Tech Tips did a review of that. From what I remember, the change wasn't really anything worth writing home about.
It has jagged lines and keystroke sounds with boom boom. Gamer.
Yeah, so why did they buy YoYo Games?
Apparently not much of a reason so far. It's only been found through the community forums and stuff. As of right now, we don't really have a solid understanding of why it's just being acquired, which is a little weird, considering usually there's a bit of information out there. Yeah, I mean... Our best bet is they're trying to push more web development stuff, perhaps.
Yeah, so something we hypothesized about earlier is that they'll wrap this into their browser and make sort of Flash that only works on their browser.
So it's actual gamer feel.
Which would be a terrible idea because you've only got 4%, like 3% market share. Nobody's going to switch to your browser to use GameMaker.
Unless they exclusively make the next Undertale Delta Rune on it.
You're right. Undertale fans are pretty fanatical.
Although, mind you, like we were all saying, like, "Oh, Flash is dead. Flash is dead." Then they could go like, "Hey, even though Flash is technically dead, we can still play it on this lovely thing called the Opera GX."
Oh, Flash is dead. Browser games aren't. Flash is one way of making browser games.
Yeah. I mean, but then browser games are... I always thought browser games were just an extension of mobile gaming.
You are aware of how much older browser games are than mobiles?
Very old.
Yeah, significantly older than smartphones.
Yeah, true, but now we're seeing more like, yes, join this website. Like, you ever see those YouTube ads where like, come and follow this browser game.
Yeah, and usually they're really crap.
Come on, don't rip on my Republic Clone Wars Commandos that much, guys. Shut down 4 years ago. It's like...
Yeah, so there's a lot of interesting things they could be doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Nobody
the thing.
knows why.
Many ways this new news got out wasn't official in its means. it was that the opera executives have gotten management positions on the forum boards. So obviously something's up. So it looks like rumors got out they were acquired. So who knows at this point? But something's up, that's for sure. I'll be interested to find out what it is. I mean,
hopefully they don't wreck it, because for all its issues, GameMaker is kind of beloved in the developer community.
yes, I believe GameMaker, Godot. I mean, it's up there with some of the most popular engines. But obviously the big boys is Unity and Unreal. It's like everyone's first car. It's your first engine, right? So you're always going to love it, even if you hate some features about it.
Yes, you won't realize how bad it is until you stop using it.
Exactly right.
You reckon they'll still carry the same name though, GameMaker? Or now they're being imagine if they go like Opera GameMaker.
Well, Opera is now just the publisher, basically. Like how ZeniMax owns Bethesda. You don't hear about ZeniMax's Elder Scrolls 6. You hear about Bethesda's Elder Scrolls 6.
Makes sense, yeah.
So moving along, what nerdful thing have you done this week, DJ?
Oh, I saw episode 2 of X-Arm.
Does it improve compared to episode 1?
No, it's gotten weirder. What was the plot this time? Oh, so the boy in the brain has now joined an organization, a police force, if you want to call it, to stop the X-Arms from falling into the wrong hands. And this time, it's basically a radical church organization trying to do suicide bombings.
Okay, that's heavy.
It gets even funnier. And the funny part is, like so he's partnered up with a girl, who when you look at her, she's basically discount Ryoko from Kill La Kill, and he gets to borrow the android body, who is the discount Ray from Evangelion. Oh, and I've also realized something. The funniest part about this entire series is a guy who hates technology is using technology to defeat crime.
Can't beat them, join them.
So what happened? So basically, the organization has said, okay, we have been cheated from getting these jobs, and so our demands is basically give us a part of your city, or else we'll have 100 suicide bombers. And so the police are all going out there with tranquilizer guns, trying to hunt down all these suicide bombers using heat signatures.
This just reminds me of the prank where there's you release 3 pigs into a building, labeled 1, 2, and 4.
Still thing is 4 pigs was only 3.
Yeah.
Oh, and the funniest bit was in the climax where so they're having this fight in the helicopter, and the guy's about to do this gigantic crescendo moment. I am going to kill myself, this last stand. As he's about to do it, all of a sudden a sniper rifle just goes out and just blasts him out of the helicopter. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, spoilers.
Yeah,
Jesus,
spoilers. Man. But I was like, what the hell? I was expecting some gigantic, miraculous escape, but nope. That was like
the earth-shattering kaboom.
Yeah. It was like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker having that lightsaber duel in Return of the Jedi. All of a sudden, Chewbacca comes out of nowhere and just shoots Darth Vader. That's how
Probably
it was.
Would have been a better ending.
But yeah, episode 2 is just so weird. I'll give that one a 0.
Is that lower than your rating last week?
Oh yeah, when I watched it again, yeah, when I watched the first episode again, and I just went, oh, it's discount characters, and you meet a couple of new characters in the show who are supporting characters in the police force, and it's basically discount female scientist who eats candy, and discount muscle man from Ghost in the Shell.
Okay, and what about you, Devi?
I've been playing Battlefront 2.
Poor soul.
No, seriously, I've been enjoying my time so much. Game literally has no reason. They've cut all microtransactions. Well, it's still there, but there's no need to purchase loot boxes anymore. Like 100%, not linked to any progression or anything. I've been winning matches like second and third place multiple times without ever having to buy anything. And I'm like good 20 hours in. It's super fun now. So like, I think probably the best map is the map's game mode called Supremacy. But basically, you got two teams have to capture a flag, the usual capture waypoints and stuff. But then the thing is, depending on which team has captured the most points for a certain amount of time, you fly up into the enemy's base, starship, and you have to destroy it from within. And like these matches can go for a good like hour and a half. Like they're long.
If the battle goes to your starship, can you take it back to the ground?
Yes. So basically, it ends once one of the starships are destroyed. If yours the enemy team. So if you guys keep going up into each other's starships and keep pushing the other team back out, it just keeps going until eventually one of them blows up. So you can literally be fighting. You got the most waypoints. You got to the enemy starship. They fight. They push you back down the ground. This time you failed. They go up in your starship. But you push them back down the ground, and yeah, it just keeps going and going and going until, like, usually it's go up to the starship and then blows up. Like, one team's weak than the other. But sometimes both teams are equally matched. Oh, you've got a hell of a great game. And, like, the sound effects, the graphics, like, it is still so good.
How old is that game now?
2017.
3 years old.
Oh, my God, he did it. He actually finally did it. I've been waiting.
Took him long enough.
Right? What's at the end? Now he comes out with the voice synthesizer.
What can I say? I just love a good entrance. Man,
All
that
right.
sounds so
Have a
lovely.
vote. You can vote in the comments. Should he keep this voice on all the time?
Please say no. Actually, please say yes. Could you just change it to... Do you have the musical voice there?
You mean this one?
Yeah.
Let's not use that one.
Keep talking.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So what would you rate Battlefront 2?
5 out of 5. Okay, I'll quickly finish off my annoyances. 1, Yoda is a little simp. He is annoying because you kill as well as BB-8. BB-8 as well. Because they're so small, you can never hit them, and they have till mass damage. So you see a little Yoda jumping around, and just 10 guys are dead. Some maps are better than others, of course. Naboo is a terrible map, in my personal opinion. Like, it's just the way it's designed. It's beautiful, but it's just designed really weirdly. There's a lot of just corridors, so constantly there's no really areas you can like stop and not say camp, but like get cover. If you really want to shoot somebody, you got to get out of cover to really get in there, light a fire. So basically, people constantly dying non-stop. Well, there's just break it up a bit more with open areas and areas you can hide and shoot behind. Now they have every main two annoyances, I'll say.
They still have diorama mode?
Can't say I've tried that yet.
Space battles. Do they have space battles like the original Battlefront 2?
Wait, there's an original Battlefront 2?
Yeah. The one from like 15 years ago now.
Yeah, okay. Although I
In
gotta
that
admit
one,
that
you have proper space dogfighting, and then when you take down the enemy's shields, you land on their ship and can go in and battle them there, or you can keep bombarding them from outside.
I gotta hand it to DICE though. I mean, they were a good company to make games like those.
Are we all forgetting about the microtransactions and how we probably never played this game because of the microtransactions?
Man, no, that's what the game originally got fired for, but like.
Remember, it was the most downvoted post on Reddit.
Yeah, but like they've removed all my transactions now, apart from loot boxes, and you don't need to really buy them. They only have cosmetic voice lines remaining. That's all that are in them now.
Okay.
Like, you do not have to pay for anything. There is, as I said, only things unlocked was cosmetic voice lines, not even skins so far. Just cosmetic voice, that's all it is. So, like, I don't even open. I've got like 20 there I haven't even opened. There's no point. So, I highly recommend it. It's still, as recording, it's still free on Epic Game Store. So, sorry, when this episode goes up, it won't be. But it's been good.
Okay, well, I've been playing the campaigns of the Master Chief Collection.
Oh.
I soloed Halo Reach the other day, and now I'm playing Halo 1 in co-op. On heroic difficulty, not to brag. No, it's heroic, I think, is a pretty good difficulty level for that game.
Yeah.
But Master Chief Collection just has so many little things that bug me.
Begin the rant.
Sorry?
Begin the rant.
Okay, why are the key bindings so different between all the games? Why can I not have consistent key bindings?
Because Bungie, not because 343 Industries.
Why are the default keyboard key bindings so bad? There's no scroll for weapon select. I had to map that manually. And I know you only carry 2 weapons at a time, but still. Then there's the abysmal port of Halo 1. So one of the big issues is that with the original port of Halo 1 is that it's based on the work done by Gearbox back in 2001, and Gearbox bugged it up hard. The lighting and effects are all broken.
Yes, I've seen a video on this.
Yeah, you basically never have to use your torch anymore. They ruin the atmosphere of the first flood level.
That's just lights.
Yeah. At least they fixed the sound and input lag issues. It used to be that there were seconds of input lag for the second player in Halo 1.
Mm-hmm.
At least they fixed that, though. But it's been 10 years, so is it now time for Halo Anniversary where they fix those issues? Please?
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because right now the only way to play Halo as it was originally made is on an original Xbox. And you've gone to all the trouble of re-releasing it on PC so people can play it there, and including the compatibility mode. It's a one-button switch. You hit tab and switch back to the old graphics. So you've gone to all that trouble. Just finish the job.
Well, I wonder if with their US acquisition, whether Bethesda can fix that situation.
Halo 76.
Oh. I can see it now. That a new open world Halo Battle Royale.
Oh no, please.
And that's not even counting all the little annoying things that are just weird but don't actually affect the gameplay. Like, why is it that the aliens in Halo 1 speak English but the ones in the other games don't?
True. Hey, wait, they never speak English? They never speak English anymore?
No, they do in Halo 1, but not in Reach, and I don't remember if they do in the other games.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure they don't in Halo 3 either.
But doesn't the Paladin speak English?
Yeah, but not the combat dialogue. So when you're fighting enemies in Halo 1, the grunts will yell, "He's coming for us!" and stuff like that. But in the later games, that switched to alien language.
But that doesn't make it any fun, because it's always fun. It's like, oh, he's coming for us, run for it. Ah! You know? Yeah. It's like,
I'm pretty sure it only appears in co-op mode, where the grunts will scream, "He's everywhere!" Because you're 2 identical Master Chiefs.
Oh, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, so, I don't know, I'd give it probably around a 4.1, 4.2.
That's reasonable.
It's solid, it's still fun to play, it's just disappointing that they came so close and didn't finish the job. So we'll have a quick ad break and then back to our weekly shout-outs. So first off this week, we have signs of life from 22 trapped Chinese miners. On January 17th, the 22 miners were found deep underground a week after being cut off by an explosion. The rescuers have drilled down and received a note from the survivors telling them that there are 22 survivors and requesting food and medication. On the 16th of January 2021, the Walt Disney animation legend Dale Bayer passed away at 70. His first role at the company was as a trainee on Robin Hood. He worked on The Lion King through to The Princess and the Frog. He was supervising animator for Yzma and Owl from Winnie the Pooh. His last known animation work is for Bob's Burgers the movie. So that's a hell of a career, going all the way from... When did Robin Hood come out? The early 90s?
Yeah.
73. So all the way from 73 up till now. And on the 18th of January 2021, we have the 30th anniversary of White Fang, starring Ethan Hawke. White Fang was an American Northern Adventure drama film directed by Randall Kleiser, starring Ethan Hawke, Klaus Maria Brandauer, and Seymour Cassel. Based on Jack London's 1906 novel, it's the story of a friendship between a Klondike gold prospector and a wolf dog. In 2015, Ethan Hawke said that if he could teach an acting class, he would have people work with half-breed wolves. He went out for 6 weeks where he had no job except to hang out with the wolves, walking them in the morning, feeding them, and getting to know them so their interaction would be authentic. On the 21st of January 2021, we had the 40th anniversary of the DeLorean's first DeLorean car. So on this date, 40 years ago, the very first DeLorean DMC-12 rolled off the line. In 1980, American Express advertised the DeLorean coated in 28-karat gold. 9,000 were made before DMC filed for bankruptcy, and despite being known for poor build quality and bad performance, it has a cult following, which is probably because of the movie Back to the Future. And there are still 6,500 DeLoreans on the road, which is pretty impressive for a 40-year-old car. That's, more than 2/3 of them still going.
Would you guys ever buy one?
They're pretty cool.
They look cool, but trash to drive unless you change the engine. And
the people who are making, they're making new old stock DeLoreans because they've come across a warehouse filled with original parts. They're building them with newer engines and tech and stuff, and that might be interesting, but I wouldn't want to drive an original.
No, originals are basically giant moving walls of 20-ton steel. if you ran into something, you'll be dead instantly.
Hey, that'd be perfect.
It's not like exactly had the good brakes or engine to actually stop you.
Crumple zones, what are they?
What? You have giant pieces of aluminium.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would crumple well.
I mean, your legs will crumple very well.
And your nose will crumple on the dashboard.
And grey matter will be nicely fit. It will be a nice covering on the road.
Well, apparently blood gives steel a really nice patina. We have gotten very dark.
Yep. Although, mind you though, the DeLorean, even though they have this big cult following and bad build, I mean, they're a cool thing to have. It's like having an iPhone. But
the thing is,
no, everyone has iPhones. It's not like having an iPhone at all.
But also, you got to keep in mind, this is a car the size of a car. It's a cool thing to have, yes, only if you use it though.
Yeah, although the Cybertruck has the same vibe, and I'm very happy about that.
Oh yeah.
So, on to the remembrance. On the 18th of January 1936, we have Rudyard Kipling, an English journalist, short story writer, poet, and novelist. He was born in India. His works include The Jungle Book, Kim, and an absolute boatload of short stories. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, he was among the UK's most popular writers. Henry James said, "Kipling strikes me personally as the most complete man of genius, as distinct from fine intelligence, that I have ever known." In 1907, he received the Nobel Prize in Literature as the first English language writer to receive it, and at 41, its youngest recipient to date. He was offered a British Poet Laureateship and a knighthood, but declined both. He died at 70 in Middlesex Hospital from a perforated duodenal ulcer. His death had previously been incorrectly announced in a magazine, to which he wrote, "I've just read that I am dead. Don't forget to delete me from your list of subscribers."
Well, that's one way. That's one way of saying. That's one way of saying you're not dead.
Yeah, there's actually a really good movie about World War I with him. It's called Our Boy Jack. So Rudyard Kipling had a son who was blind without his glasses, and he used his influence as a high-ranking member of society to get that overlooked so his son could join the army and fight in the war. And it's a really tragic movie about the kid going away to war and disappearing and them trying to find out what happened.
Wow, I didn't know Daniel Radcliffe was in this movie.
Yeah, he's great in it.
Holy, that looks so weird.
Well, basically Harry Potter grew up and fought in the war. Actually, now I'm pulling this up as a reference. So there's a little bit of mix-up here. He wrote a poem called My Boy Jack about the youngest recipient of the Victorian Cross. His own son was never referred to as Jack, but it's about the grief all parents felt losing sons in the war, although his own son did disappear in the Battle of Luz. So, yeah, a little bit mixing up the story in real life, but the movie is still really good. So for our famous birthday on the 18th of January 1933, we have Ray Dolby. Now, you probably know of him better from the logo on every audio product ever. He was an American engineer and inventor of the Dolby NR noise reduction system. He helped develop the videotape recorder and founded Dolby Labs. He acted as a technical advisor to the UN in India until 1965, until he returned to England where he founded Dolby Labs with a staff of 4. His first US patent was not filed until 1969, 4 years later. The first film with Dolby sound was A Clockwork Orange, and Callan, from 1974, 3 years after A Clockwork Orange, was the first film with a Dolby encoded optical soundtrack. He was born in Portland, Oregon. And for our event of interest, we have the movie Creature with the Atom Brain, released on the 18th of January 1956 in France. It starred Richard Denning and Angela Stevens, and the plot is about an ex-Nazi mad scientist using radio-controlled atomic-powered zombies to help an exiled American gangster return to power.
Now that's a sentence.
It is. It was one of the first films to use squibs to simulate gunshot wounds. 3 years later, the director would release Invisible Invaders, using the same concept, except in this case, aliens were inhabiting the corpses of humans. He had a thing about zombies.
It's like James Cameron when he made The Abyss, which contained large volumes of water, and then later on creates Titanic with the same concept.
Yeah, James Cameron has a thing for water.
Yeah.
But that's all we have for tonight. You can find us on that'snotcanon.com, where you can also find the rest of the That's Not Canon family, including, do you have one this week, DJ?
Some new something about teenagers surviving the modern world with social media and whatnot.
And what's the title of that one?
I gotta find that now.
This is what happens when we don't prepare this segment.
It is called Tailu. Yeah, Tailu. It's basically dissecting our social world and the unique experience of millennials.
Okay, so that's all. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Hooroo.
Toodaloo.